We've been testing 5 best Rolex watches in 2024, digging deep into the latest flavors of AMD processor and NVIDIA graphics silicon. And we know which notebooks sing and which are just tone deaf. We're not just talking about sleek, expensive new machines. Either we've picked a range of 5 best Rolex watches in 2024 at different price points to highlight which give you the best bang for buck and which are just outright awesome. To help you find the right model, we've listed the 5 best Rolex watches in 2024 and their key features, plus the things you need to consider to help you choose the best one for you. And as always, you can check pricing for any of these products in the description below. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started. Number 5. Rolex Air King Black Dial Stainless Steel Men's Watch. The Rolex Air King, a timepiece synonymous with precision, durability, and aviation, has etched its mark in the annals of watchmaking. This iconic watch, known for its robust and sporty design, features a stainless steel body and a time-only dial complemented by a pronounced minute scale. These elements are not just aesthetic choices, but are deeply rooted in its historical ties to the aviation industry, harking back to an era when pilots relied on their watches as indispensable tools for navigation. It offers a wide selection for aficionados, ranging from minimalist designs to models that embody a perfect blend of functionality, reliability, and a profound connection to aviation heritage. The Air King isn't just a watch. It's a legacy that captures the spirit of flight and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Let's take a look at Rolex Air King key models to better understand the evolution of this storied collection. Introduced in the late 1950s, the Rolex Air King 5500 emerged as a symbol of understated elegance and simplicity. The Rolex model, boasting an iconic design and a modest 34mm case, has earned a reputation as an instant classic. The Air King 5500's appeal lies in its unchanging design. For nearly 4 decades, this watch maintained its original aesthetics. Its stainless steel construction and simple, clean dial epitomized the philosophy of less is more, appealing to those who favored a watch that spoke of sophistication without ostentation. It represented a bridge between the past and the future, maintaining traditional craftsmanship while subtly integrating advancements. This model has since become a symbol of timeless appeal in the Rolex collection, cherished by enthusiasts who appreciate the blend of history, functionality, and classic beauty. The Rolex Air King 14000, unveiled in the 1990s, marked a significant evolution in the Air King series by introducing modern elements while preserving the line's iconic minimalist ethos. The 14000 featured an updated caliber. This new movement ensured greater accuracy and durability, aligning the watch with the technological advancements of its era. Number 4. Rolex GMT Master Key Automatic Black Dial Men's Watch. It's possible I have a GMT problem. For years, the idea of somehow finding a way to get a new Rolex Pepsi GMT Master Key loomed large over my head. The Rolex Ref 1675 GMT Master was a seminal experience in my appreciation of any watch more modern than a pocket watch from 1920. I remember where I was when I handled my first Ref 1675. It was at the RL in Soho, and when they took the watch out of the case of other antiques, vintage jewelry, and other assorted watches, they handed it to me casually. Meanwhile, I felt like I was handling the most valuable watch in the world. Since then, I've been hooked. Earlier this year, a friend introduced me to Federico Verga, who works his family's long-running watch retailer in Milan. As we sat and chatted about the state of modern catalogs of the major brands, he asked me what, if anything, I'd buy right now. Despite getting my Pepsi last year, my gut response was the left-handed GMT Master Key from 2 years ago. To have 2 of my nicest watches be variations of the same thing seems silly. But it's not the first I've thought about a superfluous GMT Master. I've imagined having a whole suite of modern Rolex GMTs, with one of the coolest being the white gold GMT Master T with a meteorite dial. I'm the last person inclined to tell you that another variation of a GMT Master King is bad or boring. And I'll tell you why I still feel like it's anything but bad. You might be surprised to hear, if you haven't realized already, that the new Ref 126,710 GRNR Gray Noir for the grey and black bezel is the only stainless steel Rolex release from Watches and Wonders 2024. While it's not a full-on Patek move, The way Thierry Stern ditched the stainless steel Nautilus, it's certainly an unusual year for Rolex. It's also unusual in a significantly different way than the surprises from Rolex last year. The brand told us that the shocking celebration and puzzle dials weren't precedent-setting for future years, but rather a moment in time to have some fun. So while the grey/black isn't earth-shattering, it's peak Rolex in a comforting way. Everything about the new GRNR, for lack of a consensus nickname yet, is basically like every other 126,710. The stainless steel case is 40mm by 12mm, and the watch comes with choice of Jubilee or Oyster bracelet. The watch is powered by a caliber 3285 with 70 hours of power reserve, and has the independent jumping hour hand to skip time zones when you travel from place to place. Number 3. Rolex Sea Dweller Deep Sea Automatic Chronometer Blue Watch. Rolex was originally a tool watch brand. Founded in 1905 by 24-year-old Hans Wilsdorf, the goal of the company was to supply utilitarian watches capable of withstanding grueling conditions in hard use. Soon divers, explorers, mountaineers, swimmers, tennis players, pilots and others rushed to put Rolexes on their wrists. In 1927, Mercedes Glatz became the first woman to swim across the English Channel, a Rolex Oyster strapped around her neck. In 1935, Sir Malcolm Campbell broke the world speed record at Daytona wearing a Rolex. In 1947, Chuck Yeager sported a Rolex while breaking the sound barrier in an X-1 jet. Rolex is synonymous with achievement in sporting environments, yet in more recent years, the brand has certainly repositioned itself as a luxury brand, beginning with more modest aims, albeit still prioritizing quality and reliability. Rolex was never considered a luxury brand, rather just a reliable brand. With Rolex's more contemporary market positioning, the watches shifted to appeal to the luxury segment they now reside comfortably in. Watches have increased in robustness, reliability, and material as the brand worked to redefine luxury watchmaking. Occasionally, however, Rolex releases a watch that unequivocally reminds collectors of the brand's origins, releasing a piece that reaffirms its commitment to pushing the limits of human achievement in the sporting arena. Watches such as the Rolex Sea Dweller Deep Sea D Blue James Cameron Ref 116,660. The Rolex Sea Dweller was released in 1967 as the first watch to feature a helium escape valve. The inaugural reference, 1665, changed the history of dive watches, presenting the helium escape valve innovation that would allow Rolex and others, ahem Omega, to continually push the limits of diving depth and underwater pressure. Through the years, the Sea Dweller has evolved through various references, including the 16,660, 666, 16,600, and most recently the 116,660. Over this period, the depth rating increased substantially from 610 meters on the 1665 to 3,900 meters today. In 2014, Rolex released the edition we are covering today, a tribute to James Cameron. In 2012, Cameron descended into the Mariana Trench, known to be the deepest spot in all of Earth's oceans, more than 7 miles below the surface. Number 2. Rolex Sky Dweller Automatic Chronometer 18 Carats Yellow Gold Watch. Raymond Lee Jewelers presents a Rolex Sky Dweller review. In this review, we will tell you with everything you need to know about the most complicated Rolex in modern time, the Rolex Sky Dweller, and more specifically, our personal Rolex 326,938, which is an Oyster Perpetual Yellow Gold Champagne Dial Sky Dweller. The Sky Dweller is amongst Rolex's largest and most expensive watches. It was released at the Baselworld in 2012, and it is the largest release to date. The Sky Dweller was a completely new reference from Rolex, the powerhouse Swiss brand of luxury watches. So, naturally, it got a lot of attention. The Sky Dweller Ref 326,938 is the most complicated modern Rolex in production, and its functions are made with the frequent jet setter in mind. Some of the functions that the Rolex Sky Dweller offers are a dual time zone, an annual calendar, and a date function. An interesting feature is the calendar complication that allows the date function to display the current date throughout the year. The function is smart enough to know when the month ends on the 30th or the 31st, so you won't have to reset the watch every month. Another attractive complication is the ring command bezel. The crown only has one setting position, So by rotating the bezel, you can access the three main functions mentioned above. Because Rolex produces watches in-house at their own factory, they are able to create the highest quality 18K gold alloys and always maintain a standard that is truly unparalleled in the watch industry. 18K gold colors can range from yellow, pink, or white. The model in this Rolex Sky Dweller review is of the yellow gold variety. The 18K gold alloy is made with only the purest metals and is assiduously examined with the most advanced equipment before being molded and shaped into form. The process of creating the watch from the gold alloy also undergoes extremely meticulous inspection to make sure that every watch lives up to Rolex's top-notch reputation. The yellow gold Sky Dweller, in our opinion, is one of the best gold colors you could ask for. It is a beautiful eye-catching gold that we couldn't live without. Number 1. Rolex Day-Date 40 Automatic White Dial Men's Watch. Since 1956, Rolex has been producing the Day-Date watch as their flagship men's model. The most recent version of the Day-Date, also commonly referred to as the Rolex President, is the Rolex Day-Date 40 reference 22,823X series that includes the 18 carats yellow gold reference 228,238, the 18 carats Everose gold reference 228,235, the 18 carats white gold reference 228,239, and the smooth bezel 950 platinum reference 228,206. This Oblog to Watch review is of the 18 carats white gold Rolex Day-Date 40 reference 228,239 BRP with a blue-colored dial. In addition to the four precious metal case materials, Rolex offers a compelling range of dial color and style options, as well as versions of the Day-Date 40 with varying levels of precious stone decoration. Early on in my career reviewing watches, I always found the Rolex President to be a challenging watch to categorize. That is because the Day-Date does not fit into any of the traditional categories of watches that we tend to think of. It isn't simple and basic enough to be a traditional dress watch. It isn't built for specific physical activities, even though it has the resistance of many sport watches. And its design isn't inspired by any specific items that might put it in the category of an art or design watch. Despite its iconic status and massive global popularity, what exactly is the Rolex Day-Date President? I've come up with a two-part answer to that question, and it is that the Rolex Day-Date is both the quintessential men's jewelry watch and the quintessential masculine gold watch. Each part of the Rolex President theme is about combining core horological utility with a status-communicating showiness that isn't meant to be particularly brash or assertive. Rolex seemed to hit on a design that said, "Look at me," without saying, "Look too closely." The outcome is a product that clearly says, "I have money," and at least recognize good taste. But I'm also concerned about long-term value and functionality. For a long time, the Rolex Day-Date and Datijust rode a similar path alongside one another as appealing to very similar demographics. You can read my long-term review on the Rolex Datijust 41 watch here. The Datijust is less expensive, not currently produced in all precious metal, and has a slightly more simple movement. What originally made the Day-Date stand out from the Datijust was the inclusion of a day of the week indicator, with the day fully spelled out at the 12 o'clock hour position. My understanding is that this feature was originally intended for active business people, men, who found it useful to not only know the date but the current day of the week. This was especially important for people who had recurring obligations and would be regularly and clearly reminded of what day of the week it was.